some parts also in Asia, during ancient period, there's this tradition of giving out your child to any male that just ask of hand in marriage. Like, you don't seek consent from the bride. It's just like, maybe, like, it's just like the females are like a gift. Then, like, you just, maybe because someone did a great favor for your family, and you just be like, okay, get married to my daughter. Or maybe there's all these great men that just know that, okay, you have a beautiful daughter, let me just marry her without seeking for the consent of the lady. Also, there's also this scenario whereby the two couples won't be interested in themselves, but the families of the couples will just arrange them for each other to get married. Like, they just feel like, oh, they are fit, they're supposed to be fit. Let us join them. Let us join their hand in marriage. So during ancient times, it was like that. Even during the days of our forefathers, like, I'm still talking like maybe um three generations or two generations ago. Like, there's this issue of giving out bride just to someone the bride does not really know or understand. No courtship, no friendship, no courtship. They'll just get to marry. So it was so rampant then, and they did not see it as a problem, because at last they just have to cope with each other in marriage. But now, recently, there are a lot of people are getting married every day, every weekends. Wow, that's cool. And the most interesting thing is that most of all these people now, they like, they get to date, and they get to court, like, and they get to court themselves, they get to date, and like, it's not that it was chosen for them. They made their own choice. Like, they see each other wherever, maybe in public space, maybe in toilets, maybe, maybe in restaurants, churches, club, and they'll feel like, wow, oh, I'm in love with this guy. Wow, I'm in love with this lady. I just love this lady's vibe. I love this guy's vibe. Things like that, and they fall in love. Okay, date for some time, courts. They, okay, let's get married. I love you. Well, let me settle down with you. This is the woman I want. Oh, you are just my spec. You are my type. You get. So there's love in this relationship, right? So as everyone is getting married weekends, like, we younger generation, we are getting married like to someone we want. It was not a forceful marriage.
Hmm.
But why is it that the case of divorce now is so much from we younger generation? If you go to court, you see a lot of cases of divorce. Like, it has gone to high level. The cases of divorce, if you browse it out, you will see it's there. So why is it like that? I'm just bothered about, okay, I think and there's supposed to be a lot of cases of divorce in the olden days than in recent age, whereby everybody gets to make their choice of partner.
Hmm.
Then they don't have choice of partner. They just want to satisfy their parents. Like, okay, my mother said that I should marry this guy. Okay, let me just go for it. This is the person they choose from. Let me just go for it. When they get um inside the marriage, they're supposed to have issue with each other, like, oh, and at the first instance, it's not that I want to marry you, it's just because my family said that I should marry you, because they forced me into it. That's why I just marry you, but I cannot cope with you. Let's divorce. I think that's supposed to be the case, but it's not really happening. Then they don't get divorced. Like, they grow all together, then you get death after death. But now, people that are getting married when they are when they are in love, they choose themselves, like, yes, it's you I want. Why is it that there's now so many cases of divorce? So, guys, what do you think about it? Who wants to go first? Who wants to talk?
I think you've made a good point. Um, in the olden days, like you said, it was arranged. And there was
Yeah.
a purpose behind that, and there was a structure, and there was certain routines they had to go through, maybe even some sort of checks on the visual, if this person is suitable for example, if it was me, my husband, or my daughter, they would go through a whole line of stuff. So the dating really, or what we call the venting, meaning the the diagnosis, or not diagnosis, but the checks would be done by the parents, parents to parent. My parent would speak to your parent and see what your son or daughter is like. While our kids might go on a few dates because mum and dad are doing it all, and they're arranging probably the wedding. The only difference, the big difference is obviously today that's not done. You hardly find, especially, um, well, you hardly find people trying to arrange certain marriages. What I feel though is that we have lost some of the foundations that came from arranged marriages when you really look into it. Um, for example, if you look at the back in the day, the royals, um, it was the person that had the most money, who had the most reputation, who had the most integrity. Today, we have, I think we are too free in the sense of that we are left to our own devices. If I wanted to right now, I could jump on, I mean, if I was single, I could jump onto an app and go on Tinder and date whoever I want. No one can tell me, I think you should do this or do that. It's left to myself. I feel like today what we're missing is direction on how to date, and to date with purpose. And I used to say this a lot. Date with purpose and just dating are two different things. You're looking for a certain outcome. For most people, that outcome is marriage. But what does that actually look like practically when you're trying to get to know somebody? How do you do it? And this is what I mean. We are left on our own. This is why a lot of people can't move past the dating into the engagement to marriage, because people are always getting girlfriends or boyfriends, but not getting past that because they have no don't have a structure. They don't have a guidance either. This is where the church can be very great, because if you have someone that you trust, your pastor, or if your dad, or your mum and dad are in church, hopefully if you speak to them, they can counsel you properly in regards to how to date and how to date safely. Because even today, when people date, you can get into serious trouble if you're not careful. Certain people go on dates at late nights, 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And in certain places in the world, that's very unwise because you might get caught up in something. Whereas dating in the daytime could be more safer, especially for women, right? Because obviously it's daylight, and if anything happens, there are people around. So it's all these stuff that I believe people used to get, they don't get that anymore. Um, so I hope that helps. I'm talking a lot again. I hope that helps.
Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks for your contribution. So now and Nat, you're saying that it's better we go on Tinder to find real
No,
love.
no, no, no.
Love
I
will
didn't say it's better.
not lead to divorce.
I didn't say it's better to go on Tinder. I was giving an example. If I was single, for example, I could go on Tinder and the options are optionless. Like they're so the options are limitless. I have options. Whether as back in the day, it would be your parents sorting out the best person for you. It wouldn't be based on looks. It would probably be based on, what does this person have? What can this person do for my daughter? Is he respectable? What is he known as? What does he do as a job? Now, if it was a lady, it would be like, is she a wife? Can she be a wife? Can she cook? Can she do all this type of stuff? You know, is she and you I hear you guys say it a lot. You guys try and um I heard a saying once, which is, they haven't even been home trained. meaning that, this person seems very rude. How can this person be out of order? Have they been home trained? So there is expectation, but when you're dating out there in the world and you have no guidance, you have no structure, um, you can end up with anything and it can be a complete total mess, especially if you don't date properly. That's why I tell Christians, for example, if you want a Christian, don't go on Tinder because you're not really going to find anybody serious. Why don't you go on a Christian dating app, or why don't you go to a singles ministry? Why don't you do all this type of stuff? So and but again, it's tough because no one really talks about these type of conversations. I feel like it was more easier, like you rightfully said, Hannah, it was easy to get married back then because it was arranged, and there wasn't hardly any divorces either. Um, I believe so because they had I believe I don't know what sort of foundation it was on, but it was very important. Marriage was very important back then. Today, it's not seen as important or needed as much. People are okay being girlfriend and boyfriend, but the marriage part, it's not really there for a lot of people. And for those who want it, it's hard to even get to that stage. Some people can't even talk about marriage within the first 3 months because they think they might run the person away. So when do you talk about it? I say bring it up as early as possible because you don't want to waste your time and you don't want to waste the other person's time. We're living in a day where people don't want to talk about marriage because they might think they're going to run him or her away. Well, guess what? If you do, that's great. You've saved your time and you saved the
Mm,
other person's time, you know? Yeah.
mm. Wow, that's nice one from Nat. Like, and I really agree with this part where you said, people don't want to talk about marriage, um, the early stage of their relationship. That's true because most especially we women, we don't want to talk about it to our boyfriend or wherever we call them. Why? Because we don't want to scare them away. We feel like they think we are too desperate. Actually, it's really needed, like at early stage, so that you know who belong, what purpose the guy has for, what you both have for each other, whether it's just to date for dating sake or is to lead to somewhere. Wow, that's nice one from Nat. Thank you so much. Please, where's the second person? Now I can see John Alice here. Good evening, John Alice. John, are you there? Hello, John. Your mic is on mute, so I don't know why I'm not
No,
hearing
he's
you.
he's he's trying to talk because the green bar is around, but it's not.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think his mic's connected properly, so you might have
Okay,
to.
John, can you hear me?
He's left now. He'll
Yeah,
probably
maybe you'll
reconnect.
try and rejoin. Oh, Jay, do you have anything to say to this topic? Jay, I'm expecting you to talk. Please unmute your mic. Let me read what Kenny typed here.
Mm.
She said, from the topic, she concluded that lack of contentment, lack of satisfaction. I don't want to write much. The married saying it all. Oh, I think my. Oh, I don't know that she's married.
Who?
The married saying it all. And she also had getting married so young. So young. But I've seen like 90
Okay.
years old getting married and
Read that again. A lack of what?
people
Sorry, Kenny was saying. What did Kenny's one say? There's a lack of
context me like the reason
context
for so many cases of divorce nowadays. She's trying to say that is because of lack of contentment, lack of
or
satisfaction.
contentment. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and
Um,
getting married so young. But
I
even
don't.
during
I
recent times, and those ladies, they do get married at young age. Some people 16, 17, 18.
mm,
Yet they,
I don't think it's to do with the age though, because I've not
yeah,
because there are cases to show that people who have got married young have stayed in marriages. And vice versa, people who have gotten married young, maybe it doesn't last. Again, though, it really depends on how you've grown up or how you've been brought up. You can find 19-year-olds who are more wiser than 40-year-olds. The 40-year-olds are going to the parties and the clubs and getting drunk. The 19-year-olds, some of them may be married and have kids already. It really depends on, like I said, the mindset and how you've been brought up and the guidance you've had. For a 19-year-old to get married, they've had a lot drilled in their head about marriage, I tell you that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Uh, so um, yeah, I don't think it's to do too much with age because I hear a lot of people saying it's 1920 is too young to get married. Well, okay. Well, the older you get, the harder it is to get married, and that's very true. The older you get, it is very hard to, yeah, it really is. And I'll tell you why. Because when you're younger, you've got you've got your well over here we call it your school. You got high school, you got college, and if you do go to university, then you got university. But you have a chance of meeting people. Once that stops, what have you got left after that? You've got work, church, and home. Now it is up to you after that point to make yourself uh it's up to you to put yourself out there. What do I mean by that? Okay, for Christians, for example, okay, you might want to go on a Christian dating app because now you don't really have as much options as you did when you was younger because you've passed college, you've passed university. Now what you've only got is church and home. Most people, Christians, don't really can't really find anybody in church. So that's another issue, but we'll put that to the side a bit. So you've got that aspect. Then what you find is certain people have this mindset, maybe I should just settle down. I should just settle for what I get. That can be an issue too, because sometimes people settle for things that are not, they know that it's not good for them. I had a topic last week or the week before, and it was called um, when the music stops, where you're going to sit. And I used the analogy of musical chairs. And the chairs were a representation of marriage. So you know what musical chairs is, right? When you walk around the chair, and when the music stops, you have to quickly sit down on the chair, and it's a fight to sit down on that chair. When the music stops, you sit down. At what point do we settle down? You know, because like I said, it is very hard. Now, um, but I do believe though people shouldn't also knock people down if they do want to get married young, because sometimes that may be the best for certain people. Again, though, it really depends how you've been brought up, your circumstances in life, and all that type of stuff. Um, Sorry, Hannah, am I going off a little bit, or am I making
No?
sense?
Continue. We are enjoying you. Name please get ready for me. Name James. So you also share your opinion.
Yeah, so it's the it will it does it does get harder as you get older, because your options are more slim. Um, I won't give the example here, but obviously we know what happened today. That was, you guys you guys had options, you know. Um, but it's very it will become very difficult, and I believe again, what people find difficult these days as well is to find people that have standards, you know. What the Bible says, if you build your house on sand, what's going to happen, right?
When
S-
do we blow it away?
mhm.
When do we blow it away?
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, and I feel like a lot of us, men, women, we're building our relationships into shaky places, into shaky foundations that don't really have any proper support, any structure, any order. For example, for someone that has a marriage mindset, What are you doing? Are you saving up? Because if a guy wants to propose or wants to get married in the future, even if he hasn't met that person yet, guys, what are you doing? Because if you meet a girl, right, especially a Christian girl, the likelihood is, right, that, and because obviously sex is off the table until you're married, it's this is what it is. Okay, so how long is it before you're going to propose to me? That she will most likely say. You can't say 4 years. If you say 4 years, there's a few things that's going to go on. That's going to go on in her mind. I have to wait 4 years. And like, and obviously you're both in the church. It's going to be difficult emotionally, sexually, and other things are going to occur, but also financially. And if you don't have the money as the guy, or savings as the guy, to kind of make things move a bit quicker, it can get very frustrating. This is also important as well. Whereas if you went to back in the day when we're talking about arranged marriages, most likely the money was already there because the parents were managing a lot of stuff. You know, these days we like to save money for university and all these stuff, courses, education. None of that though is really going to help you for marriage in terms of how to keep it, because we don't talk about that either. How do you keep a marriage? But how do you keep a relationship? Um, but I feel like it's important, especially for men, if you want to get married, create or make something. You know, uh, again though, I would say save up, because my dad said something to me. He was When I was younger, you want to get married, but where are you going to put her? Um, where are you going to put her? You know? And he said, while you're living in my house, you got the chance to save up, because you don't have your own place. If you have your own place, it's going to be even more harder to save up, because you got to pay for rent, you got to pay for food, you got to all these stuff, you got to pay for your bills. So while you're living here, try and save up. And my dad really helped me with that. I was like, wow, okay. But he told me to save up for something different actually, but I didn't want to. I saved up for something else. But he instilled in me how to save. These days, people don't know how to save. That's the problem as well. People don't know how to manage money. This is another reason why sometimes marriages might not work, is because people don't know how to use their money. So when I got married, I said to my wife every month, I said, "Is it okay if I buy this for myself?" She said, "Why do you keep asking me that? It's your money." I said, "No, you're wrong. It's not my money. It's our money. If I spend something and let's say you don't have it, you're gonna come to me. So I need to make sure I check with you that you're covered first." Does that make sense? But she didn't see it in that way. But it was good for me to be aware of those small stuff, because you know what I mean? Because there are stuff that if you're not careful, it can get very frustrating, you know? Um Now let's say I did spend a lot of money, she would have said, or she might have said, "Why do you keep spending your money?" And I could have said, "Well, you didn't tell me." Again, not everything in relationships are communicated, but you have to communicate effectively though. Try to your best. But at the same time though, we need to think one step ahead of our partners in terms of, okay, I need to make sure I got this in the bank just in case. She might need something. I'm talking a lot again, I'm sorry. But yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Does that make sense?
Um, yeah, of course. I'll be here with you. I'm trying to do something. Yeah. Uh-huh. That is a nice one from Nat. Like, he has mentioned a lot of points and even related to Bible verse, just as Kenny said, that she loved the way he chipped in Bible verse into the conversation. He also he even diverted to Christian aspects because in the afternoon when I posed this topic, Tila mentioned something about Christian, like how we can also relate this topic to Black Christian, how it affects our community as Black Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love how Nat also chip in the Christianity aspect of it into the topic. But I purposely make the topic like this because not everyone is a Christian, and it's not only Christians that are battling with diverse issue. We also have other religion
Mm-hmm.
that also have this is a general problem and is worldwide. Is not even only based in one aspect of the continent. It's not only the blacks. It's not only Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just a general
Yeah.
problem that's happening everywhere in the world. So that's why I just think the topic should be just simple like that, so that everybody can contribute from their own aspect or point of view, because everybody is not in the same country.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I make it. It's just a general issue. Let me try and read that. Before I read Dami opinion, I can say that I don't know how to pronounce your name. Please, if I spoil it, you can correct me by muting your mic. It's Simon Simon two. Simon two, you are welcome here. Please unmute your mic. How are you doing? Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Yes,
hear
we
you.
can hear you. Good evening.
Okay. I didn't know how. At any rate, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm fine. Now you?
Doing good. Doing good. Trying to get some
Yeah.
work done.
Awesome.
Wow. So where are you calling from?
You sound American.
Currently, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia.
I knew it.
Oh wow, cool. Um, what else do I want to say? You're welcome here. Thanks so much for coming on this space. And do you know the topic?
Do not. I'm trying to catch up.
Okay.
So the topic is basically why don't relationships last anymore? Compared to back in the olden days, right? There was a lot of arranged marriages, but not anymore. What's your opinion on that, bro? It'd be good to hear yours because I'm from the UK. A lot of people here from Nigeria, but you're in America, so I know you Americans have got a lot to say on this for sure.
There's a lot of reasons for the marriage. From what I can tell, I've
Mm.
actually been married twice.
Wow.
So, um, one thing is unrealistic expectations of your
Mm-hmm.
partner,
Mm-hmm.
not having the open communication of what each person expects,
Yeah, I did say that.
and being realistic within yourself on whether or not you can actually accommodate that for your partner. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people that get into marriage thinking they're going to change their partner, and your
Yeah,
partner
I've
needs
heard
to be
that.
whole before you actually start a relationship. So if you're not whole and your partner's not whole, you can't expect that relationship to be whole either.
Mm.
There's no, well, you know how they used to say, that's my better half,
Mm-hmm.
when in fact it should be two wholes coming together to make
True.
a bigger unit.
Do you think we have a lack of guidance though?
No, no, there's not a lot of guidance. There used to be more guidance where we could actually look at the older people, but then you come to find out when you get older, they had a bunch of problems. They just decided they wanted to stay in. And because nowadays we have a lot more options than
A
they did
lot.
back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
a lot more options. So we're not jailed by a marriage anymore. And because that jailing isn't there, there isn't anything holding us there except for will. And if you don't have the will to stay, you're not going to. Because marriage is hard. Relationships are hard. Relationships are work. And it's not work in the matter of I'm going to a 9 to 5. It's work in the matter of we got a goal to reach and we need to be on the same page. So there's work in your communication. There's work in your work. There's work in the household. There's work on goals for your kids. There's work
Kids.
on goals for your families. There's work on goals for your relationship itself. There's work on your connection with your partner. Whoever your partner is, if you're not working on keeping that connection connected, it's gonna disappear.
Mm.
And
But
that's ground zero and ready. You're primed for somebody to come swoop in and take your partner.
mm,
And that goes both ways.
I feel like that was always the case, right? In every
Oh,
relationship or marriage, that's always the case. Now, I don't know if you know the popular Godfather Kevin Samuels, right? But the thing that I really love that he said is right
fool
is
of
that
God.
is it what did you say?
Did you call that fool a godfather?
Listen. All right. Let's not go too deep into it. No, because everyone calls him that. It's just all right. Let me keep it going, right? But one thing I do like what you said though, right, which we don't really have though, is a community. When my grandma was around, the stuff that kept the marriages and families and the kids, it was it was a community. It was, if someone saw your kid out of line, they could come back to you and say, you're, by the way, I had to help your child out with something because X, Y, and Z. I don't think we have a proper community these days that
Oh,
actually.
because you go to tell a lot of these parents these days, especially here in America, you go tell a parent, hey, I had to discipline your child. This is what I did to discipline them. You don't even have to hit them. But the fact that you said you disciplined somebody else's child, they're ready to take your head off, no matter what they're doing.
Wow, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a lot of that, especially here in America, because everybody is everybody else's enemy.
Mm,
Let me say that again. Everybody is everybody else's enemy.
that's the problem.
I watch people try to start relationships in an environment of enmity. They're very lustfully and sexually attracted to this person, but they'll never trust them. And that's worst case scenario for any relationship. It's not going to go anywhere. And then they're wondering why they're 40 and 50 years old alone.
Mm,
I refuse to stay in a relationship with someone I can't trust.
mm.
I refuse to start a relationship with someone I know I'm not going to be able to trust, because I got to trust somebody with the most valuable thing I have, and that's my heart.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. There's a lot of things that's pulling relationships and marriages apart. Just relationships. You know, the number one thing that I hear from a lot of guys these days,
What's that?
I don't care if she's in a relationship with somebody else. It's my job to go take her because I want her. No matter who she is, just for the simple fact that this person lusts for this woman. It don't matter if she's in a marriage, don't matter if she's in a committed relationship, it don't matter how long she's been in that relationship.
There's no
As soon as he
respect these
finds
days. Yeah, I think the key word is respect.
Wow.
It,
and even
Wow.
and it wouldn't matter if we were doing what we were supposed to do in these relationships. And it goes both
true.
ways.
It,
It's
it, it,
men.
it it does go both ways. I agree because if if you're not treating your wife properly, it's only natural for someone to, if they're not strong enough, eventually just get interested in somebody else. But I do know a guy, I have seen other people, and he's told me this, trying to hit on his girl, and they're fine. Literally together, they're fine. She's happy, he's happy. You know what I mean? Um, but I do find that a lot of people, you're right, especially in America, I've seen it, I've heard it, seen videos on YouTube, and it's over here too. And I can't tell you what happened a couple of weeks ago because some people, um, oh, it's too close to home. But and it's not in Discord if anyone's thinking it's not, it's outside. But somebody who was married, actually no, they weren't married. They had a relationship, but somebody who was married wanted to take her out on a date, and she said, "But you've got a wife and you've got kids." And he just said, "I'll do anything for you." And I was just like, "Huh?"
Yeah,
And I
because
was
he
like,
doesn't want the marriage. He vowed to. He made vows to it and
I
don't
know,
want to keep them.
and we forget the vows, right? We say all these stuff in sickness and in health and all this stuff. You know, I understand people make mistakes. Marriage is going to be full of mistakes. I've said this before. Relationships and marriages go through three things: harmony, disharmony, and repair. It's a cycle. It will always happen. But you have that base contract when you got married, like what you said, right? These vows. Regardless, you will have to love unconditionally, all this type of stuff. I like how you talked about unrealistic expectations as well, because I've seen a lot of people who expect when they get married to get all this money, be showered with so much gifts and be spoiled. No, when you get married, it's work. Like we're gonna have to,
Complete work.
yeah,
Everything.
it,
And then I've seen both ways where the man wants this woman to do all kinds of stuff and then he wants to do the bare minimum, but he wants everything. And the same thing goes for the woman. She
yeah,
wants to be showered upon, doted upon, and massaged and the feet rubbed and all kinds of stuff, but won't even make a plate for him. So it's a lot. It's a
mm,
lot. And that's the other thing. Everybody goes through ups and downs. Everybody goes through ups and downs, but when a man is down, he's looked at as if he's weak, or if he
yeah.
shows his weakness to his woman, he's got to be afraid not to show his weakness to his
I was
woman,
talking about that on
because
Twitter
if he
today.
shows
Yeah,
weakness,
it's so
he'll
true.
start looking for somebody else.
Hmm.
It's a really strong connotation here in the U.S. Matter of fact, there was a guy that came up on Instagram just the other day. Look, you can't show your weakness to your woman, otherwise she's gonna look for another man because she doesn't want a weak man.
Yep,
But
I've heard about that a lot. Yeah.
none of us are perfect, and none of us are omnipotent, meaning we're not all powerful. So we're gonna have weak points.
Hmm. And to make it worse, right? No, not worse, but to add to what you're saying, a lot of us men uh feel as well that sometimes we can't talk to other men, honestly. And that's another thing. As guys, we do find it hard to talk up as well about these certain stuff. Um, because we've been made to feel that, you know what, it's you on your own. That's it. Go through it. You're a man. Suck it up. But
True.
but when it's your woman, when she comes to you, you've got to drop how you feel, and you've really got to, or not act, but in a way, in itself, it is. But you've really got to put what you feel at the back for a minute and sort out stuff.
Right. You gotta cater to
Yeah,
her and fix her feelings first before she'll even understand anything that you're going through.
yeah. And
Let me tell you something. I had a relationship pretty recent, um, with a woman that I really cared about. I fell in love with this woman, and I'm a tax person. I do taxes. So we're in the middle of tax season and I'm getting clients left and right. I'm getting beat up during the day,
mm,
like completely beat up. I couldn't call her or text her all day because as soon as I get off one phone call, I got another phone call, or I got a client in front
yeah,
of
of
me. As soon as I
course.
get done with that client, I got another phone call. I got all kinds of things going on throughout my day. And finally, when I finally pick up my last call, she's calling me. I'm like, hey, so I say, "Hey, baby, how are you?" Don't hey, baby, me, da 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 da, and she goes off on me
Expected.
because I didn't talk to her all day. But I had been being beaten up all day, and then at the end of the day, now I'm getting beat up again.
That's unrealistic expectations. Again, taxi,
It's
right? As soon as you're
unrealistic,
finished one call, you're on another call. Someone's gonna say,
and
"Hey," oh man, especially if you're an Uber
you
driver.
can't tell her that it's unrealistic expectations because then I'm not validating her feelings.
Mm, mm, mm,
But
mm.
the feelings were unrealistic to begin with. How do I communicate that to you without you
Snapping.
being hurt by it?
Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. And
So I mean,
yeah,
it's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot.
No, it is. Yeah. And again, all these stuff, especially everything that you've experienced, when you meet somebody else, these stuff have to be communicated from the jump before you even finalize anything. What I mean by that is to make things official. Look,
What's
I'm
funny about it is
no
I
sit.
communicated to her. I told her I have over 500 something clients. When tax season starts,
No, no,
it's
no.
gonna be hard for me to communicate with you the way I'm communicating with you now. It's gonna be hard. It's not gonna be easy.
You
I
know what,
need you to
bro?
understand it now.
You know what,
And she
bro?
still didn't get
You know what, bro? I know because she still expects you to, because what she'll probably say is, and I know with taxi driving, you have to make up your own time and you decide your own breaks, right? Um,
right.
what phone do you have? I'm getting somewhere. There's a reason why I'm saying this because I had to do this. What phone do you have? I think all phones have it now. Do you have an
Uh,
you have
uh,
an iPhone,
I have
right?
I have an Android. I'm
Brilliant,
talking to you on Android.
brilliant. Okay, now Android recently just came up with a new function, right? And I had to do this, not with my wife, but with somebody else. You can set a timer, bro, for when messages will go through to somebody. You start work at 9, send a text that sends a text at 12, 11, 12 o'clock. How are you, babe? Done. At least you can say you sent a text. But that's me trying to be funny, but I'm literally being serious.
Get this,
That
get
is
this.
a
I
function
sent
now.
I sent a text when I went to the bathroom. It wasn't enough.
Oh,
She couldn't get enough of me.
oh man. Well,
She couldn't get enough of me.
you know what? If that happens in marriage, bro, I would say go counseling. Honestly, the last resort, I would say go counseling. But
Well,
um,
it actually, and to me, just being honest with you, I want a woman to come to me like that, but don't beat me up.
okay. No, I hear that. I hear that. Because you're
Because that
you're like me, bro.
shows you.
If there's an issue, say it, right? But don't come at me hard, please. Like, talk to me. Let's communicate. I want to have a proper dialogue.
I got enough people beating me. I got enough people coming at me and positioning to make me fail. The last thing I need is the one person that I feel peace with
Peace. I said this to the
to
girls the other day,
to
right?
show up as
Men want
one.
peace. I said this the other day.
Some men want trouble. Don't tell me every man wants peace. Some men they just like fire.
The ones who want to get married, Hannah, they want peace. Trust me. The ones who want to
Now,
get
Hannah,
Seriously,
tell me something.
some men like trouble. They like fire.
Hannah,
Like they'll take the cool girl
you,
for granted and
married,
go for the one that's giving them all the trouble in the
but
world.
that's the
I've
toxic
seen
relationships,
situations
Hannah.
like that.
Hannah, that's the toxic
yeah,
ones. We're
that's
talking about the
you don't
ones
want
who are
those
marriage
guys
minded.
anyway. Let me ask you a question, Hannah. Would you rather the guy that wants peace or the guy that wants turmoil?
Oh, I prefer peaceful person.
Okay, so then those guys are irrelevant, then, aren't they?
Okay, but they are rare to see.
It makes sense, right?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I love your point, and if it's that you can see the chat in here, you will see a lot of people have commented on your points you made so far. You and Nat, you really have a good conversation there, and I think I also learned from your points, you and Nat, when you were discussing. But the thing is, you guys are only talking about your relationship, what you want in your relationship, the type of lady you want, what is happening. But the question is based on two, like divided into two. Like our assumption for this topic is made from what has happened in the past. You've not been here before when I started this space.
Mm.
I mentioned something earlier. I said, in the olden days, ancient period, like the spouse and the partners, they do have this issue that is arranged marriage. Like the marriage is arranged, is not with the concept of the bride or the concept of the couples together. They just get to marry each other just through family pressure, like second hand. Like their family work out the marriage for them and they just get to, maybe the couples are just meeting on marriage night. They don't get to date, they don't get to court each other. Yet, yet this marriage lasts longer. Down now, the present age, everybody have all the spouse, they have the freedom of choice. They choose their partner themselves. Maybe when they go to club, they'll just fall in love with a girl. Maybe go to restaurants, go to church, go to parks. they fall in love with a girl and a girl fall in love with a boy, and she'll be like, wow, this is my type of guy, this is my type of man. I want to settle down with him. The same goes for the guy. Yes, nobody force you into each other. You've caught, you've dated, and you feel like, wow, I want to marry this person, I want to settle down with this person. Yet this present age have this kind of freedom of choosing their partner. Then why is there so many cases of divorce in the society? Because the cases of divorce in the society is higher than ancient time. Ancient time that people don't get to know their spouse before they marry or date each other. So why is it like that? Is it that they just go out of love? I don't understand. Why is it like that? Supposed also, I believe in ancient time there's supposed to be higher cases of divorce in ancient time than in this present age. But
All right, so
it's the opposite.
I have an opinion on it, but I don't know how accurate it is because I've never been in that type of culture. Um, but my opinion is the reason those arranged marriages last for so long is because it was more of a business contract and a contract where other people were dependent upon whether or not that marriage stays together. So it was for a position of family power,
There's more on
right?
the line.
That's how you maintain your wealth by arranging strategic marriages. And it lasts because it wasn't about the heart.
It wasn't about
It
love.
wasn't about the actual relationship.
Mm.
It was about the family. It was about the business. It was about the people that were dependent upon those marriages. There's a much bigger picture than just the two people that are in the relationship. And now that people have choice and these relationships are only dependent upon the households that they come out of, and people are a whole lot selfish these days, there's your big difference because there's not as much of a consequence for the disillusionment of a man of that type of relationship. That's just
Wow.
my opinion on it because I don't really know very much. I've had a couple of friends that were in arranged marriage situations, and as soon as they started it, they were ready to get out of it. But because of their culture, they won't exit out of it, and they'll just put their life in turmoil. But we have a lot more freedom these days.
I think you said it better than I
Yeah,
did.
you have a point there. Like people in the olden days, people do get married because of contracts, business deal. That's true. Though that's where you are, but yeah, also it's also like vows in the olden days. Like the family they've made vows with uh, a certain family about some certain things, and when it's time to pay up, they use their daughter to pay it up. You get that kind of thing, or
Hmm.
farming setting, you get different things, or to a wedding man that can take care of the family. So yeah, that's true. You have a point there. Like, and
And
some
then
people just make covenant, like blood covenant, like okay, our children
am
will
I
get to
wrong?
marry each other when they grow up.
In those
It's like
marriages,
that in Africa.
isn't it common for the man to go out and cheat on the wife in those types of marriages too, and
Those
then
time,
they stay
yeah,
together for
the
the
men, they don't marry another wife. That's just the thing. They get to marry
yeah.
another wife. Anyone that chooses to marry another wife, and
In
the first wife
cul-
can't run away.
in the culture I live in, if you're not exalting your wife to be the only woman that you want, the only woman that matters, then she has the right to leave because that's the way it's built up in our culture. It's the same thing vice versa. Your man should be the most important man in the world to you. Everything else comes second and third. And tertiary or whatever level there is, priority first is your man. Where in
Wow.
these particular relationships, they were forced into these relationships. And a lot of times they don't even really have a relationship. It's like two executives coming in, they talk business, and they live in completely different bedrooms. I don't know about you, but I don't want that type of relationship. It's cold. I want warmth when I come home.
I want to be warm too, bro. I like the warmth. Hmm. Oh yeah. In a relationship, you get three types of pillows, bro. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, before you guys continue, I would like to I would like to welcome Joseph Bamidele. He has been listening for some while. And Jay is also here. Jay, you're welcome. Swiss Bane, you're welcome. Um, if you don't know the topic, you can check activities. You can check the chat on activities to read the topic. It's also on Courtyard, so any of it you can check it. Simon, do you know how to use can you see the chat icon on your screen?
Chart icon.
Yeah, near the contact icon. Can you see that?
Let's see.
You can
I'm
see
in.
that.
Let me see. Uh,
If you
can you
click
still?
on it, you can check people conversation there. Like some people are here but unable to speak, so they are typing it down, their opinion there, or and also vibing.
What was the name of the icon again?
Huh?
The icon
The
you
chat
the
type. Can you see that?
the charts.
Yeah,
You
that
guys
message
got.
icon there.
I'm in the Discord, so I apologize.
Have you seen it?
Go to
There's a
chart.
contact icon close to it, then a three dots. So I'm talking about the chat icon.
Simon, you can touch your screen. Once you touch your screen, you see like a message icon as well. Maybe you're not understanding the chat. So you see a
Okay, I see it.
message, just click it. Yeah.
You've seen it. So if you click on it, you see people dropping their opinion there. So you can also read up, laugh, communicate with them. When others are talking, you can do that. Okay. Um Salome will share her opinion. I'm trying to look whether another person have joined
It
before
says
I
it's still the same.
yeah.
What does that mean, Heffy?
What's that? Uh, what are you saying? What's your question, Simon?
No, just click on
Joseph, don't just listen. You are going to talk. You are going to share your opinion. Jay, same go for you. And Swiss Ben, I'm coming for you too. But right now, I would love to hear from Salome. Salome, how you doing?
I'm doing so well. Very well.
All right.
Doing.
So, what do you? What's your opinion about this topic?
Hmm. I've been listening and it's been so sweet. Simon, I heard something you said that sorry, I'll go back to the topic now, but I just want to say
Okay.
something to Simon. Um,
Okay.
you said you were quite busy and most times you call your wife, uh, she just start nagging and all that. That's woman for you. We're clingy, especially to the ones we love. We can't get enough of you. Yeah, most ladies nag so much, which is not necessary sometimes. You understand? Do you understand? But you too, you have to understand that is our nature, and you just keep calm and give her some few minutes and try talking to her again. She'll be calm. You understand? We just can't get enough of the people we love. That's just the plain truth. We just can't. That's why even when we know that you're very, very busy, there's still something in us that still wants to nag.
All right. So
Except the ones that have self-control, except the ones that are very, very understanding, though they still have the urge to nag, but they won't because they understand what is going on with you. Do you understand? So
Solomon.
sometimes I'm here. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I
You're
can
saying
hear you.
something?
Yeah,
yeah, did you
I,
say your name was Salome?
Solomon.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I
Hi,
agree.
Salome.
I agree with what she's saying, right? But Sonomy,
Oh my God.
it's very different over here because
Let me
Yeah,
let me
understand.
pause.
nagging is they're literally shouting and screaming in your face. That's not necessary. I can
Yeah.
say in this type of voice, right? Let me just say something. You didn't reply to me. What's going on? That
Yeah,
okay, that's cool. But when you start to shout and raise your voice, that can be too much, even for a lady. If a man was to do that, that's too much. So
Oh,
over
it's
here,
sure.
definitely too much.
it's completely different. And so you, I hear what you're saying, but I think if you experienced it and saw it, it's completely different, honestly.
So now
Mostly,
to
but
iterate my here, like he said, she was over the top, and this was like one specific situation, and she wasn't my wife; she was a girlfriend at the time.
wow. Okay.
So this
But
is when
did you end up, sorry, did you end up getting married to her?
no, I broke up
Okay.
with her,
Before
and
marriage?
well, I never married her. I broke up
Okay,
with her,
that's fine.
back together with her later, and she did it again, and we broke up again.
Okay,
So
that's fine.
everything was blissful in that relationship until that point, because at that point she showed me when I needed her, she couldn't be there for me because she was so wrapped up in her feelings, not really understanding what's going on with me, and she didn't care. I tried to explain to her what was going on with me, and she says it doesn't matter. There's no excuse.
Wow. Wow. Now I
So
get. Okay, that's fine.
now you get what I'm telling you.
Yes,
I
yes,
have
yes, yes.
grace, and I have a
Yes.
lot of
I,
patience.
yeah, I
I'm
understand. I
I'm one
understand.
of those people that if you show me you're hurt, I'm gonna show you compassion,
Sure.
especially if I
That's how
love
it's
you.
supposed to be.
Especially if I love you.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Right. So in this case, I was showing her compassion. I said, "Baby, this can't be. You can't be upset about this. I told you what was gonna happen. I'm running this whole office. I got over 500 clients, and a lot of them are calling me all at once, and they're trying to get through to me. And some people got letters, and I'm trying to fix problems while trying to do tax returns and answer the phone because I didn't have an administrator. I had no help. I'm running a 500 client office during the busiest season of the year, busiest 4 months of the year that you could ever have in a season, period. Everybody needs it done all at once. And instead
Yeah.
of you piecing there for me, you're blowing up at me instead of saying, baby, why you ain't call me all day? Actually
That can be
caring
frustrating. I
what's
understand.
been going on with me because my character changed. Instead of caring why it changed, you're mad that it changed.
Sure. That's okay. I understand.
You get it?
So,
Okay, good.
yeah, I
I,
get.
I'm this thing.
Okay. Okay. To Anna, and to
Yeah.
the topic as well, to our topic. Um,
Yes.
you said why does marriage of then last longer than the ones now?
Yes.
Well,
Like yeah. No
yeah, I
cases of
understand. Yeah, I
okay.
understand. Well, I am no marriage expert. You understand? I've never been married, but with the little knowledge I have upstairs, I want to share with you guys. I've heard what others have been saying, Nat and Simon have been saying. Most of those marriage then was based on contract, and both parties have little or less choice to leave the marriage. Do you guys understand? But there are some other reasons why I feel they stayed longer. That was because um, the two party already have mutual understanding. They already know what they are going into, even if they had not spent time with each other. Do you understand? They already know that this is a marriage, is for better and for worse. And for those that went into polygamy, like some other men had to marry other wives, Probably the first wife already know that, okay, my culture embraces polygamy. So I have no choice, or I don't have to nag, or I have nobody else to go to, because I feel the full community already know that, okay, this is Mazi's wife, and Mazi is already married to her. And if she leaves the marriage, no one is going to come for her because she was already married to Mazi. Are you guys understanding? So she has no choice than to be in that marriage, because if she leaves, family is not going to accept you back. Society is not going to accept you. No suitor is coming for you. So it's either you choose to be on your own, or you choose to share your husband with other women. That is another reason
Can I also say
why
something
they stay.
very, very quickly? Because as I've been talking, I haven't been actually in the chat box. So apparently Kenny wants
Yeah.
to say something, so she's gonna try. So Kenny,
Sure.
try your mic, see if it works. Kenny, maybe she's got stage fright. I don't know.
I think it's a network or something.
Okay. She said no. Okay, never mind.
Okay, Kenny, please just type, okay? Type.
Type Kenny.
Okay, as I was saying, I've given two instances, right, of why they stay longer. The next one I have to give is because, trust me, they grow in love. Like, most of them got married without loving each other, and by spending time with each other, they grow to love each other. Do you understand? They grow in that relationship to love each other. They might not get married as a happy couple, like they love each other like we do right now. But staying with the man, staying with the woman, seeing how caring she is, seeing how loyal she is, seeing how the man is taking care of her, they fall in love with each other. Because they already have this mindset of, okay, this, for better for worse, I'm going to live in this marriage till we die. So having that mentality and falling in love in that relationship, it strengthens that relationship. They grow to stay longer, they grow old, and they die together. Trust me, I have never heard so many cases of husband hitting a wife in the olden days, and maybe she passed out or she died or something. I never heard such cases. It's now we are seeing it, like, it's now that it's being rampant that your husband comes and hits you and do sort of nonsense to you, and probably wife comes and stab the husband and do all sorts of nonsense to the husband. Is becoming rampant. Now that we are even choosing our own spouses, is now the thing is becoming more surplus and more common, and you see it and you don't even get surprised. Then it wasn't so, because I feel the ladies then tend to understand the kind of relationship they are in, tend to respect their husband, and the husband too cares for their wives. And most of the time, if you check the people that got married to so many wives, they are wealthy. Most of them, they are wealthy. Not all, though. Most of them are wealthy, so they can take care of as many women as possible. So you find out that all the wives don't lack anything. They don't lack anything. They just be at peace with each other in that marriage. For those that got married to many wives, and even some that are not even wealthy, you still see them being in harmony. They go to the farm together, they go to shop together, they live in peace because they have this mentality of, he is our husband. We can't counter what our husband says. We just have to, go through what he's telling us and do exactly what he has to, because we have no one. Because then no one is going to take you back after marriage. Who is going to take you back? Is it your family? Your family has already given you out. You are not coming back. That's true. You are not coming back. Why are you coming to? You are not coming back. You are married to your husband and the husband's family. So where are you coming back to? If you're coming back, you are going to be on your own. And trust me, no suitor is coming for you. Do you understand? So my that's just the three reasons I feel they are staying longer in the relationship. And to me, it makes more sense then than now. Because I feel now most ladies and why we fall, not just the ladies, both parties, why we fall out of love so easily is because we never genuinely loved one another from the beginning. We were just carried away with whatever we saw. Maybe our hips, our boobs, a fine face, a long hair, a sexy eyes, sexy legs, and everything you're seeing on her. Trust me, that's just it. You just saw her and you're like, wow, this girl is sexy. Damn, you're already thinking of things you want to do to her. Do you understand?
Mm.
The girls see
Yeah, I
the
get
guys,
that.
the girls see the guys in club and be like, wow, he's spending so much. Oh,
I
brother,
think
ah,
I
I'm
think
gonna buy some Chanel bag and shoes and all
Ptolemy.
that.
I
You're
think it's
already in love.
yeah.
You're already in love, like instantly with that. You don't even know his character. You don't know what he's capable of. You don't know um if he's short tempered, if he's tolerating, if he has some mental issues, or maybe family causes even doing him in his village. You don't know anything about that girl. You don't know any single thing about that guy, but you're already in love.
Can I say something, Solomon?
Do you understand?
Hmm.
Go ahead,
Yeah, I'd
please.
like to respond to you, Solomon. There's a few points that I wanted to respond to you about, but I
Sure,
think the
go
other
ahead. I'm
go.
listening.
You already chimed.
Okay, okay. I'll actually go through it. I'm actually ironing, so I can't check chat right now. So you guys can just be dropping it. When I'm done, I'll actually go through it.
I
So
think
that's what I
I think it's
go
different.
ahead.
I think it's different, a little bit different now, Solomon, because back in the day, yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't necessarily so much on looks. I guess it was, what you can do. It was, who's gonna look after me kind of thing. Again, I'm like our brother here. I don't know too much, but it seemed like um it was be with the person who can look after you, and they will keep the marriage, but they may be doing things in the background. They may be cheating behind the scenes, or they may be completely loyal and they may be in love. Who knows, right? But I understand this topic really good because it's like, yeah, I mean, there were hardly any divorces, but what was the actual relationship like? And from what I've seen and heard from some elderly people is they just put up with each other, you know? Certain things didn't, and but today in our times though, it's very different. It's easy to say a little bit, we look at the outside because to be honest, it is important to all of us here. Most people wouldn't get with someone who they thought was unattractive. You know what I mean? It's especially us men. We got eyes. Men are more. Well, I won't get into that, but men are visual, and what we
Oh, women are very visual too.
women are
Let's
visual
not.
too. But what I was gonna say is men are more visual, but that's debatable. So I don't want to get into that. But women are visual, but men's eyes are like Superman with X-ray vision. Men see a lot, which most yeah, men see a lot. Um, you know, and it does matter. So, women though, I've noticed are more, I wouldn't say more emotional, but they're emotional in different ways than men are, if that makes sense, when in tune with certain things. Um, I just feel like communication for us today in our generation is very important. Communication is the is the foundation. If, and I like to go further a little bit and say effective communication, because anyone can talk, but do you really listen and take it in? My grandma used to say it goes in one ear and comes out the other. It doesn't actually get inside of you and you don't actually really listen. So effective communication. What do you do with the information that he or she has given to you about the relationship? And you know, there's a lot of reasons why marriages don't work. And there's a lot of reasons why a lot of people can't lift off from the base of relationship to get engaged. There are so many reasons. One example, when people are in relationships, they invite single people in. Why invite a single mindset in when you're in a relationship with two double mindsets? What do I mean by that is,
Another mistake they make.
yeah,
That's one
you
basic
know,
mistake we
if
make.
you've got two minds that want to work together, that should be one, like our brother said. But when you have someone who's single, all they know is the single mindset.
Sure.
Yeah. So
and they don't want
so
to
s-
give it up.
right. So let's say Dami was with someone called, let me make up a name, Rachel. Rachel speaks to Solomon and says, "Oh, I'm really upset, man. He was doing this and doing that." And it could be something so small. But Solomon comes out and says, "Girl, this is why I don't do marriage. This is why I don't do that. I'm free. I can do whatever I want. You wanna come to the club with me tonight and get a break?" And all of a sudden, if you're not careful, you can give this lady a single mindset that says, "You know what? Maybe I'm not ready to be married." And I hear this a lot. Maybe, 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 maybe. Fear starts to come in. Now, what if it was slightly different where, for example, using Dami again, Dami's wife went to another married woman, most likely she would get better counsel. Hopefully that makes sense.
Sure. I totally understand every single thing you're saying. You understand?
Yeah.
You said you talked about communication. That is one basic problem we have. Let me use problem. Wives of these days and spouse of these days, they don't know how to communicate. They um they actually believe things that other people tells them than their spouse. Okay, maybe you found out about something from a friend, a close friend of yours. Like, okay, guy, I saw your babe with let me use wife, you're married. I saw your lady, your wife with another man in the supermarket, and they were talking and they were laughing and all that. And you come home with the mind, the way your friend painted it is like she's cheating on you. You understand? Like maybe she's having an affair with another guy outside. Maybe the true scenario was she met a cousin or someone very close to her then back then from school, so in the supermarket, and they just had to catch up and laugh and all that. You come home and you start suspecting your wife without even confronting her, without even talking to her, like your as an husband should do. Like, okay, oh babe, my friend said he saw you today, with somebody, and she'll be like, oh yeah, 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 that's my friend. Oh, I met my cousin. You don't do that. You just keep that thing in your mind. You don't communicate. You don't tell her anything, and you start suspecting her for no reason. Lack of communication is already causing issues. You now start having this urge of, monitoring her, like checking her phones and all that. Maybe the person in question was nothing to her, meant nothing to her. But you already started playing scenarios in your head just because of something your very close friend told you. Lack of communication. Some of them do find themselves actually cheating because they just assume that their spouse is cheating on them because they did not communicate, they did not ask, they did not talk about it. So they start cheating on their partner, and that's where issues come down. Maybe the other spouse finds out that, oh, he's cheating on me or she's cheating on me, and issues comes. You guys start fighting because you already suspecting her before. You already concluded that she has someone else before. It doesn't bother you anymore. You you don't even care if the relationship crashed or not because you feel that she started it and it was just a slight misunderstanding. So communication in relationship is very, very vital. No matter how angry you are, no matter how upset you are, you shouldn't. I repeat, you shouldn't assume anything until you have proof or you verified whatever you're trying to find out that is true or is not true before you start anything silly. Because trust me, lack of communication in relationship cause so many damages now than then. Because you just start building hatred, you just start building distrust, and another one, trust. Like Samuel said before that he can't be in a relationship whereby he doesn't trust his partner, and I agree with him. I would prefer for my husband to trust me than to love me. Trust is very much powerful than love. If your husband or your wife doesn't trust you, forget it. That relationship is not going to last long. She might love
So
you, but she doesn't trust you because anything she hear from outside, she's going to believe you, or anything you hear from outside, he is going to believe you because that person doesn't trust you. But if the person doesn't love you and trust you so much, it's not a big deal because I believe love can grow anytime, anyway. It's something that can be nurtured and it will, come back and to fall in place. But trust is very, very important and very vital in a relationship. So there are so many factors that destroy a relationship right now. Like I said, attraction, physical attraction causes damage because what you saw before is still what you're going to be seeing. And as a lady, it's going to depreciate at some point because maybe when she gives birth or something, you're going to see some changes that um you might not like, and the feelings you have will start depreciating. Do you guys understand?
Mhm.
Can
yeah,
you guys
the
hear
sun
me?
present for me.
Are you
Solomon,
guys there?
can you hear me, Solomon?
Okay. I just wanted you to. Sure.
Yeah,
I just wanted to confirm if you guys are listening. So,
yeah.
like I said,
That's me.
attraction, dissatisfaction, uncontentment. Maybe okay. Let me give an instance whereby a lady falls for you because of what you have to offer, and some certain you're breaking. Somewhere you're breaking. I can't hear you. Okay. I say maybe a lady falls for you because of what you have to offer, and at some point in the relationship, things are not going so well for you. What you're offering her is not coming through anymore. You see that lady will stop um having such feelings for you because she was after what you were offering and not you in
What you had.
person. So you keep on wondering, oh, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? Did I offend her? No, you didn't offend her. You didn't do anything wrong. You are just not giving her what she fell in love with. Do you understand? So she looks for the next guy or the next person that can offer her such, and she's gone. She's gone. Just because that relationship was built on material things, was built on what she was getting from you and not you in person. She didn't get to know you. She didn't get to know you, the kind of person you are. She didn't get to know the kind of things you like. She just fell for what you were offering. That
Right. Which
can
goes back
cause.
to the fact that it wasn't real love, or if it wasn't unconditional
Sure,
love, because it was conditions.
it wasn't.
So
It wasn't real.
the thing is, it that what you just described is called infatuation, because
Sure,
you're not
that's
in love with
infatuation.
the totality of a person. You're in love with aspects of that person.
Mm.
So that's the that. So to go back to what you were saying about men thinking about women in their physical aspect first.
Women do it
Eventually,
too,
if
just
you're in
differently.
a relationship, you grow into that you grow into loving the totality of the woman. The attraction is just to draw him in, but he has to fall in love with you entirely. And that's when you start talking about marriage. At least that's the way it's supposed to work in the culture that I live.
Sure.
That's the way it's supposed to work. But fall in love with the infatuation. They continue the infatuation, and they keep that infatuation all the way into marriage. And then when they can't keep up the farce any longer, that's when things. So there was something you were saying earlier. Trying to interject. Um, you were talking about. Oh, I can't remember it now. You were talking about how these marriages that they're arranged, they last very long, and people respect each other, and all that's good, which
Yeah,
is great. But the respect is there because you don't have a way out.
I was
These are
gonna say that.
marriages.
Yeah, some of them are like that. Yeah.
Yeah, these were marriages of bondage. They couldn't get out of these marriages without putting themselves in peril. So, and you actually mentioned that when you stated that they couldn't go back home to their families, and if they go back to home to their families, they're not going to find another relationship. They're going to be alone for the rest of their lives. And this is mostly on the part of the woman because the man can go out and get as many women as he wants. But
Mm,
once a woman has
That's
been
it.
touched with a particular type
hmm
of relationship, once that woman's been touched, she's been
No one
tainted. And
wants
once
her again. Yeah, it will get out that she's
one
been with somebody else. Yeah.
exactly in our society where we are, it doesn't matter if the woman's been touched or tainted. If that woman is for me, then I want her. Is a difference. So um I think the I think even though there's a pandemic, people not staying in marriages and marriages being a lot shorter, it's a
Yeah.
lot because of they're going in for the wrong purpose. They're going
Mm.
in with the wrong attitude at the beginning.
Thank you. Something
But
just hit me
mindset.
right now. Sorry, sorry, sorry. Something just hit me right now.
Hmm
Another thing that is making so many people fall into this marriage thing and fall out so quickly is pressure for friends and family. Nowadays, the pressure to get married is so high. They see their friends go into marriage and they just want to go into marriage.
No,
You
it
see a
was
guy and a lady, they just met like a month or two and they are planning marriage. What are you planning? Like, what are you planning?
you
A
don't know that
month into marriage, you want to get married to that guy. What are you planning? What do like? I don't understand. Why do you want to get married just because people are getting married, or just because your family member is asking when are you getting married, and you just want to get married, or
So
maybe your
it's
friends are
the
asking when
so
are you getting married, and you just want to get married.
it's
So
not
most
that
of them
it's
just
it, it,
they just find the nearest guy that is capable of getting
Solomon.
married to them, and they jump into the marriage, and you find that they find so many things that is not working for them, so many things that they can't compromise, like so many things that they can't deal with in the marriage, and they fall out just because they didn't get to experience that in a courtship. There was not enough time to figure those things out. Maybe the guy has some bad characters that she can't cope with, and she just fall out of love. Or maybe the lady has so many bad characters that he can't amend or he can't cope with, and you see, they call it a quit. They just let each other go just because they jump into the marriage without experiencing each other, without knowing the person you getting into with, and it doesn't make sense.
I
It
think
doesn't. It doesn't
I
really
think
make
s-
sense.
I think Solomon, it's not necessarily how quick things have happened. Again, what our brother said, I think it's really the mindset. And especially if the man's got the money to get married, hey, I mean, you could get engaged within a
Nah,
year.
nah,
Yeah, yes.
nah.
What?
for
I
example.
don't think you should be getting married to a guy you met a month ago.
No, I didn't
I
say a
don't think
month
that.
ago. No, no,
You know you said it doesn't matter how quick. That means I
no,
can
I'm
get
saying
married
that.
to.
No, what I'm saying is though,
That's what you
it's
said.
no, but no, I did say that. But what I'm saying is though, right, is
Yeah.
don't always look on how quick it's gone because I'm being deadly serious. I've seen people who have got married, Christians. One guy, he got married quite quickly, and it's working. I do believe though it was the mindset, and I don't know how long they were dating for, but I think it was, it might be a month. But I mean, average people, I don't know if people could actually do that though. Get married in a month. I meet you in a month and get married. That's kind of quick. I don't know how you could actually do that anyway.
We don't
Um,
know anything about the person in a month. People get
FMSF.
they're
I don't
going
know
to
how it could actually work anyway. But let's say for example, get married in 3 months. Let's just give it. Okay, maybe that might be doable. But we don't know how. We don't know what they've built or formed in those 3 months. For example, we don't know if they've seen their parents. They don't. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I'll give my time frame, and I wrote my time frame down because a lot of people ask me this. My time frame, how it went, and people said,
Matt,
"Wow, that's quick," right? So
Matt,
yeah, is someone saying something?
Matt, thank you so much. Thank you, Salome. Thank you.
Hannah wants me to
Thank
stop
Why are you
talking.
saying so
Hannah, what's going on?
you,
Anna,
Bertrand.
you are not done.
Oh, Simon is also Bertrand.
But
No, that's not it. That's not it, Nat. I'm sorry. And Salome, I'm sorry. The thing is, you
Okay.
guys will still speak, but I can see that others are not interacting. So I
Oh,
want
I
to
do
make sure that,
apologize. Yeah, you want to give other people, you want to call out other people. I get that. That's cool.
Okay, sure. Let me
yeah,
mute my
I
mic.
get that.
yeah,
Sorry.
so
Let
that
me
they
mute
can
my
also
mic.
speak because I know that you guys will still,
I beg.
This is
you
why
will still talk.
communication's important. See, we're doing
Yeah,
communication right now. See, this is very important. How you communicate
Joseph,
with
I
your
think you're
friends?
ready
can I
to talk.
talk now, please?
Yes,
Oh,
Joseph,
Kenny.
I said, Joseph, please unmute your mic.
Kenny said she wants to speak. Did you hear Kenny?
Please don't let don't let Kenny to speak. Our connection is not good.
stop, stop.
Joseph, are you there?
Yeah, her connection's really bad. Yeah.
Okay, Jay, let's Jay,
Can
are you ready?
you just mute your
Jay, please
mic?
unmute your mic.
Let me just check
Jay,
if
please
it's
unmute your mic.
screen.
Hang on now.
Good
I
Oh,
evening.
Oh, okay,
Can
cool.
anybody hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I've
Good evening.
muted my mic
God.
already.
Oh my God. Well,
It's really bad.
Who is talking? Who is talking?
Try
that is
muting your
Nigerian
mic.
network.
Hannah, try muting your mic and see if that makes a difference when they talk.
Okay, good
Okay.
evening.
No, she's not talking.
Jay, please, you can mute your mic and talk.
Actually, it's not my mic. JD, are you there? Please unmute your mic. Let me hear from
Is it any better?
you.
Okay, I'm
No.
actually here. I don't know if you're calling Jay or J.
I can hear you now. Is it better?
Yeah, JD. Yeah, JD. Please
My
talk.
mic is not muted.
Who is actually talking?
My mic is not muted.
Okay, let Jay talk.
Can you hear me now?
You know what? Wife
Okay, Jay.
281. Please hold on. Let 130 talk. Network is better. Let her talk.
Okay. So, hello everyone. I was here earlier, but I had to leave because of network issue though. So I'm back
Okay.
on the topic. I know I've missed a lot though, but let me just put in one or two. So I think Salome has actually said one or two things I would actually say. So I think now our generation will now become so obsessed with materialistic things and actually with what we see, the physical aspects of the person we're actually dating, that we forget to actually look at the other things we're not actually seeing, in terms of the characters and, because that's actually what will kind of like sustain a marriage, not the physical aspect of it, in terms of the person's character. So I think when dating, we should actually see if we're actually compatible with this person, get to know, as human beings, the way I would react when I'm angry can be different from the way another person reacts when he or she is angry. And how well can my partner tolerate me when I'm angry? There are some little things we tend to overlook as human beings. We are so like clouded with, he has money, he can take care of me, and that's it. And before you know it, we're planning marriage. And at the end of the day, when things go south, we tend to fall out of love, the so-called love we're talking about. And as a guy, you see a guy, all he wants is, she's beautiful, she has the shape, it's curvy, she has boobs, she has ass, and at the end of the day, he doesn't tend to look at the character of the person he's actually trying to get married to. These little things we tend to overlook just makes us fall out of love. Because I don't know, there's actually this celebrity I used to know. I still know her though. I don't know if you guys know her. She's a celebrity makeup artist. Like she got married and in 3 months she divorced, like separated from her husband. And when we're trying to know the reasons why she did so, we're hearing that the guy is bisexual, like both male and female. And I was like, okay, you guys were dating, you guys courted. Is it that you didn't notice certain things like this? Or I don't understand. How didn't you notice that he's also into guys? And then when you get married, you now tend to know that, oh, this guy is into guys. Like 3 months, guys. Like if you say the kind of wedding they did, it's not small wedding, no. But in 3 months they separated, and you're hearing that, oh, this guy is bisexual. Like how? What were you guys doing when you guys were dating? You guys were just going on vacation, or I'm not saying it's bad though, but I mean, how there's not how she wasn't seeing red flags, but I don't know if she overlooked it or whether the guy was, sometimes guys can be very tricky. Oh, let's be sincere. A guy can be very tricky. You see a guy, he's so sweet. He does everything for you. And the end of the day, when guys get married, you now find out that he beats women, like he beats ladies.
Can I? Can
And
I?
you're not like,
Mm.
Jay, sorry now, let me say something. Jay, one, people pretend a lot. Do you understand?
like,
When you're in courtship, maybe she saw red flag, uh, but
yeah,
she chose to be nonchalant about it. She chose to close her eyes towards it just because she loves him or something, or probably she's thinking that after marriage it's gonna change. Trust me, such
yeah,
things doesn't happen. If he's cheating in courtship, he's gonna cheat in marriage.
yeah,
It's going to be
exactly.
very difficult for anybody that is cheating while they are
I
dating to just drop
Stop.
that habit after marriage. It's very, very difficult. Do you understand?
Solomon.
Because the guy or the lady already sees that, oh, you can deal with it. You can actually, you're okay with it. So I can do whatever I wish to do. I feel she saw the red flag and she felt maybe, okay, after marriage, it's going to change. And trust
It
me,
can,
people pretend so much when they're in courtship
like, I
because
tell you,
because because they don't have you yet, so they are doing everything possible to keep you. They feel after marriage, it will be very, very difficult for you to, leave the marriage. In Nigeria now, we tend to, our ladies, they tend to endure a lot. They tend to bear so many things in marriage and all that. So they feel okay after marriage, she has no choice than to endure with me or to bear with me and all that. And trust me, most ladies these days they don't have that patience anymore. They see any
exactly.
little thing, they are out. They don't have that patience. Like you,
Okay, let me say
it's
something
very
about,
rare
let me
for
say
you to see.
that in the divorce case, they're like kind of like taking the times of our parents to now. In the times of our parents, like divorce was hardly a choice. Our parents are like our mothers were taught to stick in the marriage whatever the outcome. Because those times, before you hear a lady or a woman is divorced, like she's always hiding herself so that you will not know that she's separated from her husband. But now, we don't, if nobody cares anymore. We feel yes, everyone is enlightened. If you're done with the marriage, you leave. But in the terms of our parents, it was a case of stay with your husband, stick with him, he will change, you know. And that was why, as a result of that, that was why domestic violence was kind of like, how do I put it? Because the woman was always there. Let me say, she will always want to stay because of the children and because of the shame of leaving the marriage, coming back to her father's house. But now it's not the case anymore. The lady will leave, or if you like, look at her, she will look at you back. She will be like, yes, you want her to die in the marriage. I know she wants to come out alive.
Can I
That's
say
just what I
something?
wanted to put in.
Can I say something very quickly? Um, when you said men are very tricky, um, when it comes to dating, I understand what you're saying, but I believe that both parties are responsible equally in the dating scene because you should be, if you both want marriage, then like I said, it should be communicated from the jump. There's something that we call honeymoon phase in the UK, where it's when you first meet someone, it's like, wow. You know that video, that meme, and that guy saying, wow. You know that one? It's literally like that. Like, wow, like you're in a relationship and you're so happy that if you're not careful, you can forget about the whole reason why you was in this in the first place. What is the end objective? To the point where you're going out to a lot of meals, you're watching movies together, that you actually don't actually invest in the relationship going into the future. You're just focusing on what can you both give each other now, what time you can give each other. Oh, he's not texting me. And before you know it, you've got yourself in a little bubble cloud. Again, our brother talks about unrealistic expectations, and it's not really going anywhere until all of a sudden she says, when are we gonna, like, when would you propose to me? And all of a sudden he freezes. He wasn't thinking that because it wasn't instilled within the relationship within the first jump. It wasn't instilled within it. And I feel like that is, and I'm just kind of adding, Jade, to your point, because
Okay.
sometimes I feel like you are right. Sometimes people don't see everything because they're not actually focusing on it. Some people don't
Yeah.
pick up red flags straight away because they didn't ask certain questions. They didn't really invest in, okay, but who are you as a person? Okay, you've treated me to this, you've done this, but who are you? You know, um, instead of us going out, well, I just come around yours and just chilling out. And going around somebody's house, you can really get to see them in a different environment. How are they? How is this person in different environments? How do they operate? Does this person know
Yeah.
how to cook? How do they feel about cooking? What is their favorite meal? All these sort of stuff. How do they manage their money? If they were to get married, how would they discipline their children? All these type of stuff. But you won't get to know these sort of questions if you're just focused on the what or on the honeymoon phase. Oh, he treats me like a princess. No, kind of like, like, calm down a little bit. Focus focus on the reality. Focus on all these stuff, because if you don't, for example, talk about kids or how you would treat kids, when you get married and you have kids, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I didn't see this. Of course you didn't see it because you didn't discuss it.
Yeah.
For example, we was talking in the group chat about months ago about genotype. If you have sickle cell, whatever, for example, if you're not careful, if you don't ask the right questions, you might miss something. You
Exactly.
might miss something. Probably that's probably another topic should be, what other stuff you should talk about before you actually say yes to someone if they ask you out, maybe. But there's a lot of things that you can easily miss within the couple of months. So that's all I wanted to say.
Wow, that's great one from Nathan Salome. Like, I really love you guys contribute. In fact, everybody that talked tonight, like, wow, like you guys are amazing. Like, the points are just mind blowing. Let me. I've not even said my sins. Like, let me just add it to what you guys have said, and you guys can continue. Like, most especially this Salome point. Like, I really love that point, but I also feel like why there's a lot of divorce cases is we can also look at the aspect of exposure. In the ancient days, there's no much exposure to and to the women folk like how we have it now. We have some certain culture and tradition guiding our way of life. But now we are in a civilized world, though, and there has been civilization from back then. In fact, since the days of all these Egyptians, the civilization, days of all these Iraq, but at this, but this time, this global era, we are in the era of technology,
Mm.
and everything is just civilized, and that a lot of associations and organizations coming up just to support women, to give voice to women, and we have this education now, like ladies now we are studying like the men. The degree they have, we have it. Like we are doing things that is restricted for women before. Now the ladies are doing it, so we feel like, oh, we are equal to the men folk. So why should we be treated in a kind of way that we don't like? And now we have like the, organization like United Nations, part of their seven agenda. Is it seven agenda or six agenda of United Nations? Maybe women aspect like three of it. Like there's gender equality, there's empowerment for women and giving voice to ladies, and domestic violence. Like you see, like things like the organization like this and all these NGOs that act on human rights and things like that. They're giving more power to women. So there's this exposure that make divorce cases to be rampant nowadays, because anything that happen in a marriage, the woman will just feel like, okay, I'm going for a divorce, I cannot take it. In the older days, it's not that there's not shit happening. Let me put it like that. Like even then, men they do bits of their wife.
Yeah.
Yet, yet the woman cannot say anything. She will not even say anything, because even the society will also blame her. That's when you do not listen to your husband. They don't care. They don't care who is at
Commit.
fault. They don't care who is at fault. They'll just be like, hey, it's because you don't listen to your husband or you did not do his way. That's why he's beating you up. That's how it
That's a
was seen in the olden
travesty.
days. Like the women folk, we don't have voice. We don't have voice. We just accept everything. Your husband is your lord. Anything he does is final, is correct. Nobody will ever take you. If you go back to your parents' house, they won't take you back.
Mm.
You just have
Yeah.
to stay
I
bed
I I
there.
I I
But
agree. I agree that women
yeah,
should be treated with respect. There's something that I've said, and I've never said this to you guys in this type of group, in this type of
okay.
setting.
Now let me just round up so that you can just then you can chip. Please just hold on.
Okay.
Okay. All right, thank you. So that's the aspect of exposure for me. But now everybody is exposed. We've gone through things men have gone through, education and everything. We have the same value as men, and there are organizations and laws. People pass bill. All the Senate, they pass bill of women, like, okay, give voice to the women, give them position in the society. So we feel like we are exposed enough to know right from wrong, to know that yes, no, we must not take this bullshit. That's why there's so many cases of divorce, and because some is due to, okay, my husband beats me, he cheated on me. Before you can't say anything, you just have to take it like that. Also, another aspect is, even Kenny has mentioned this aspect earlier, contentment. It's really battling with us. This younger generation is really battling with us, and I think this time I'll break into Christianity aspects with it. And it says like, the Bible, how the Bible make it sound like, I think the Bible wants us to, and sex should not be before marriage, but after marriage, right? I think that's what the Bible makes measure of sex. But in this uh present generation, is more rampant that, okay, there's sex before marriage and everything when you're dating boyfriend and girlfriend, they're already having sex. So there's already kind of knowledge of each other. And I think why the Bible condemn it is that when you marry, you will not feel like, okay, my husband is too small for me or it's too big for me. You won't be able to use someone else size or something like that to judge your own to judge your own husband. If you get what I'm saying, like now, okay, for a lady that has dated like maybe 20 guys before she finally settled down and she had had sex with almost all of them or all of them, you know, she will see fault she won't have seen if she's a virgin, if she entered the marriage being a virgin, fault she won't have seen, she will start seeing it in the man, and she'll be like, oh, uh he's not my like he's not like she it's not like my other boyfriend, or it's not like my other ex. I do enjoy it with my other ex. That one is long, that one, there'll be comparison, and before you know it will start affecting the marriage. Also for the guys, it's also the same thing. You tested a lot of ladies, and later you start comparing that. Oh, Tina is more better on bed than so. like, like
You know what? I, can I interject real quick? I like to be really honest for a second. Sex before marriage has been happening long. I mean, centuries before we have been born. Yes, it
yeah,
was a
that's not now.
stigma. Yes, huh?
Actually, in my country, I can say in ancient times, like it's really a thing of dignity for a woman to keep her virginity till marriage time. So
Well,
it's very rampant
that's
in the days of our own forefather. Though I know that Europe
Usually,
and continents like America, they are more exposed than us in ancient times, but it's not that rampant. Like we can see that there's still a gap between now and then, even over there in your
yeah.
country. So, but
so.
now everybody is doing it. In fact, I've seen 10 years old. You know,
I mean, there's been a stigma until recently in the U.S. too, but it's been happening. It never stopped. It's been a stigma for centuries, and still it was happening before marriage all the time.
but
There were
now it's
more
good. I
women
think that's
reported
why
to
there's
be
more cases
virgins
of
before
divorce.
marriage,
Oh,
but
Kemi, you're welcome.
huh?
No, I'm trying to greet someone that just joined us. Kemzi, you're welcome. I'm also seeing another guy. I'm trying to check for his name. I'm not seeing it on my screen.
So I actually have one more point to say. Am I permitted?
Before you say it, not wanted to ask me a question before I interrupt him. Maybe he should talk first. Nat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Um, I was gonna say that going back to what you said about women's rights in marriages, I believe women should be respected. Um, yeah, with respect. And there's something that I've always said, but I haven't said it with you guys. You guys have never heard me say this, but um, this is how I see it. Is the man is the head and the woman is the neck. Now, who has more power or control? They both are equal in the sense of uh power. Now, I can't move my head unless my neck allows me to. Does that make sense? They need to work together. That's all I was gonna say. So I believe that the man and the woman in marriage, they should work together. For example, some men believe that the woman should always be in the kitchen. Me personally, if I see you need help in the kitchen, I don't mind getting my hands dirty and washing up. It's me,
Perfect.
you know what I mean? Like it's not I wouldn't class it as a woman's job. I know naturally women would naturally wash up and cook. I get that because they've been brought up to do that. You know what I mean? But it doesn't if I see you struggling, then yeah, I'm gonna wash up this morning. You won't Sometimes you may have to ask me, or you might have to say, Nathan, can I have some help? Or one morning I might be like, you know what? I can see it needs to be done. I'm just gonna get on and do with it. It doesn't have to be a woman's thing to do. The same way I can wake up in the morning, I have rights to turn on the TV. So do you, for example. You don't have to go in the kitchen. Like I told my wife one time when we first got married, I said, "You're always in the kitchen. You don't. I didn't marry you to be in the kitchen. Chill." You know what I mean? Um, but again, I respected it because obviously she's doing what she's been brought up to do. You know. Um, hope that makes sense. I'm done talking. I'm sorry. I'm talking too much. I've been talking for 2 hours. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna
No,
stop.
what you get talking too much.
Oh my God, this is crazy. I'm gonna stop. That's all I have to say.
Okay, I can see Teddy here. Teddy, you're welcome. Joseph said that he's shy, he cannot talk, that he's feeling
Aw.
some about the topic. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, guys, I'm done. Um, I'm gonna end this. Um, we're still talking in the Discord. I don't think you can hear them, which is great. I think I've turned everything off. Guys, we're gonna end it here. I hope you've liked this video. Um, it's 10:30 at night. Everyone's still going. You've had people, guys, from Nigeria, the UK, and America collaborating together. That's brilliant. So, guys, I'll see you next time. I really hope you've enjoyed this. I definitely have. Take care, guys.